A Utah man is under arrest after police say he held his girlfriend's family hostage for months, terrorizing them with threats of violence, claiming the cartel wanted to kill them.
America, check this out. A Utah family of 7 was held hostage in their own home for half a year by a 23-year-old who claimed he had cartel connections. But here's the shocking twist. After terrorizing them for months, he admitted it was all a complete lie.
We begin with this. Unified police are sharing new information on a Mill Creek family who say a man held them hostage for 6 months, claiming he's part of a cartel.
What is up, guys? Tyson Dela Cruz here. Thank you so much for rocking with me. This nightmare only ended when one family member finally got a hold of the gun, turned it on the captor, and called 911. This story reveals something deeply disturbing about America today, how the fear of the cartel has become so powerful that a single individual with 0 actual cartel ties could control 7 people through pure psychological terror. In this video, I'm breaking down how this happened, why the family couldn't escape, and what this tells us about the growing fear of the cartel gripping our communities. Let me break down exactly what happened in Mill Creek, Utah. That's right, Mill Creek, Utah. On May 17th, police responded to a desperate 911 call near 2300 East and 2900 South. When officers arrived, they found something straight out of a horror movie. A family member holding 23-year-old Dominic Christopher Garcia, shout out to my 3 last name individuals, at gunpoint after 6 months of captivity.
In a 911 call from one of the family members, they told police they had Dominic Christopher Garcia, 23-year-old Dominic Christopher Garcia, held at gunpoint. Police then arrived to take him into custody. It's still unclear, however, why it took 6 months for the family to call for help.
And this wasn't just some random home invasion. According to court documents, Garcia moved into the family at the beginning of the year after starting a relationship with one of the adult daughters, who was pregnant. What started as a normal relationship quickly turned into a nightmare of psychological manipulation and terror. Garcia told the family an elaborate, crazy lie that his grandfather's business had done a quote-unquote bad deal with the Mexican cartel. He convinced them that they were all marked for death unless they followed his every single command. For 6 months, 7 people lived in constant fear, believing cartel assassins were watching their every single move. The level of control Garcia exerted over the family is absolutely chilling. He created an elaborate system of surveillance and punishment to keep them in line.
He confiscated and inspected victims' phones within the family, threatening and pointing weapons at them when he discovered any outside communication.
Sergeant Amy Race from Unified Police also detailed activities like nightly watch rituals, a month-long road trip through the state allegedly at gunpoint, and rigorous boot camps, now facing a multitude of charges, including aggravated kidnapping, aggravated assault, and more.
Garcia only allowed family members to leave the house for a maximum of 2 hours at a time. Even then, they believed they were being watched by quote-unquote his people, the non-existing cartel members he claimed that were monitoring them. One of the most bizarre aspects of this case, Garcia forced the family on a month-long road trip throughout Utah at gunpoint. During this trip, he forced one of the victims to purchase a firearm for him. Physical abuse was just horrifying as a psychological torture. Court documents reveal that Garcia would physically punish the family members who questioned him, including holding one of the victims' head underwater in an ice bowl. He even imposed what police called a rigorous boot camp. This is crazy. On one of the family members, forcing them to do multiple daily workouts, sometimes lasting up to 2 hours per session.
He was physically abusing the victims, including holding the victim's head underwater in an ice bowl as punishment.
And he's accused of telling the family of 7 his people are watching, and any defiance could lead to their deaths.
Coercion is different. I can't speak on this family in particular. I think that will come through in the interview process, but coercion can work for different people in different capacities at all times.
To reinforce this cartel narrative, the father told police that Garcia would sometimes come home covered in blood, claimed that it was from, quote-unquote, a business deal. This further cemented the family's terror and belief in his cartel connections. What makes this case particularly disturbing is understanding how one person with no actual cartel connections could control 7 people for so long. This wasn't about physical restraints, it was about psychological chains.
The family has been living in constant fear of Garcia for 6 months, in fear of him and the the people that he has led them to believe are out to kill them.
This is a textbook case of what psychologists call coercive control, a pattern of behavior that strips away the victim's sense of self and independence through isolation, degradation, and fear. When asked why the family didn't reach out sooner, Sergeant Amy Ray explained this type of psychological control affects different people in different ways.
Unified Police wrote Dominic knew he was inflicting mental trauma on this family and causing them to live in fear. Now, we are just skimming the surface when it comes to what Garcia inflicted on this family.
The family was so terrified about the supposed cartel connections that they endured 6 months of abuse rather than risking consequences to seek help. The fear was real, even if the threat wasn't. According to the probable cause statement, one victim identified only by initials, RS, told officials that Dominic repeatedly told them that the cartel would kill them if they did not do what they were told.
The victim, only identified with initials RS, said Dominic repeatedly told them the cartel would kill them if they did not do what they were told to do. They told officers this weekend that he purchased a 10mm handgun, which Dominic began carrying to protect himself.
What's perhaps is the most shocking what happened when police finally questioned Garcia. According to court documents, he admitted that everything that he told the family was completely fabricated.
Court documents, Garcia allegedly told police that he made everything up, saying, quote, he did not know how to stop it and was afraid, quote, they would not like him.
This wasn't a cartel operation. This was one disturbed individual who exploited the fear of cartels to terrorize an innocent family. Garcia is now facing a slew of serious charges in Salt Lake County, including 7 counts of aggravated assault and 7 counts of aggravated kidnapping, 1 count for each family member.
We don't have evidence to support that this individual was a member of the cartel at this time.
Just inside at a press conference at the Midvale offices for Unified Police, and I asked Sergeant Amy Race if there was any reason the family didn't come forward earlier to authorities. She explained that coercion is something that looks different in each and every case. And this one, it was involving a suspect who was a trusted friend.
If convicted, he could spend decades behind bars. Aggravated kidnapping charges alone carry a potential life sentence. Police are still investigating the full extent of Garcia's crimes and trying to understand how this situation could have continued for so long without intervention. The investigation is proceeding carefully, with police prioritizing the victim's well-being, as Sergeant Ray explains.
One of the things that we always keep in mind is when these victims are ready to be interviewed, we interview them. Of course, the public, we all want to know these answers, but our first priority is making sure these victims feel comfortable and ready to talk.
Police have confirmed that they have no evidence that Garcia actually has any cartel connections. This was pure psychological manipulation from start to finish. America, this is a horrifying case that shows just how powerful the fear of cartels has become in our country. A single 23-year-old man with no actual cartel connections was able to terrorize and control 7 people for 6 months simply by exploiting that fear. This is a direct result of the growing cartel narrative in our nation's conversation. When we hear stories every day about cartel violence and infiltration in American communities, it creates a climate of fear that predators like Garcia can exploit. The fact that Garcia's lies were believable enough to keep this family in terror for a half a year speaks volumes about the reality that we are living in. The cartels have become so powerful, their reach so extensive, that the mere suggestion of a cartel connection is enough to paralyze people with fear. Unified Police wanted to remind the community that you can always call your local authorities if you feel that you're in a dangerous situation. But the broader question remains: how many more Americans are living in fear because cartel threats that have been allowed to grow over the past 4 years? How many more predators are out there exploiting that fear to victimize innocent people? And remember, while Garcia's cartel connections may have been fake, the fear he exploited is very, very real. It is a fear that has been growing across our communities and our nation. Let me know what you guys think about this. Drop it down in the comment section down below. Smash the like button if you kindly would. Share, subscribe, and as always, guys, I'll catch you on the next one.